Happy Tuesday. Dr. Stacy Holeger here. I am so excited for you to join us this evening. We are going to be wrapping up week 4, our 4-part detox series. And if you joined us 4 weeks ago, myself and Dr. Tim Tagg, who is on Dr. Don Verhulst's team, he is a chiropractor. We kicked off that detox conversation talking about all different types of things. And then I came on the next week and reiterated more things and introduced some new things with detoxing. And then I'm sure you were on here last Tuesday when Laura and I, Laura Balzer, who is a senior presidential director and one of my dearest friends, came on and shared her experience and her testimonial with detoxing. If you missed any of those 3, you know you can find them on my YouTube channel. And of course, this will be on my YouTube channel as soon as we are finished this evening. Dr. Don Verhulst is no stranger to this channel. Many of you have heard him many different times. I think one of your videos has over 20,000 views on my YouTube channel. Dr. Don, people share your stuff all over the place. Now, Dr. Don is a medical doctor. I am not a medical doctor, but we are not your doctors, okay? Just so you know that. So the information that we're sharing tonight, it's not intended to treat or cure or diagnose anything that's going on with you. We are here to share information about LifeWave, about your health, and how this technology can help you in your health and wellness journey. So if you have any questions in regards to your health and what's going on with you or medications or anything like that, please consult with your physician or your healthcare practitioner. Now, Dr. Don he and I have been friends for over 15 years now. And so he is an incredible teacher, an incredible human being that focuses in the nutraceutical side of medicine. He did get his medical degree. He and his wife, Susan, live up in Michigan, Grand Rapids, Michigan area. But he chose very quickly to go down the natural path of alternative healing modalities and therapies and nutraceuticals and supplements. He's actually co-formulated and formulated many different products. And when I met Dr. Don, he was the chief, what would you call yourself? Chief Education Officer. He was teaching and training on stage everywhere we went about health and wellness and the products that he had formulated. And so Dr. Don is an ordained minister, and like I said, he and his wife Susan live in Grand Rapids, Michigan area. They have 4 children, and he has written 5 books, Dr. Don? Is it 5 books? Yep, you can find him on Amazon. Do This and Be Healthy is one of his most famous books, and of course, The 10 Keys That Cure. I love that one as well, too. That's one of my favorites, of course. But please help me welcome Dr. Don. Again, we're going to talk tonight about detoxing, Dr. Don. We're going to talk about the benefits and why, from a medical doctor, why this is so important, because I'm going to tell you what, I don't know many medical doctors. When you go in and you see, the blood work and all the issues and all the scans and what's going on, and they say, oh, you need a detox right now. You need to change your nutrition. We need to get you on an exercise program. Let's talk about your lymphatic system. Let's get no, they get out the script, right? Is that common? What do you experience, Dr. Don? Take it over.
Absolutely. First of all, what is detox? I think now we hear it so often, but I wonder if we really stop to think what detox means. It's detoxification, which means removing toxins, or keeping toxins from getting in your body from the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food that we eat. We're literally inundated with toxins like never before. Every day, more and more, literally thousands of toxins every day that come at your body, and you ingest them or you breathe them in, and then your body has to decide what to do with them. That's part of the detoxification pathway. And from my background, my perspective, when I think of detoxification, I think of mainly 4 major areas that I want to support in the process of detoxification that your own body's doing all the time. It's happening from the moment you're born, even before in the womb. Your body starts to have this detoxification function. And the first, and I'd say arguably the most important organ of detoxification, which I don't think you'd predict, but it's certainly true, is the large intestine, the colon, or the digestive system for sure. Why? Why is that so important? Well, let me first say what the other organ systems are. It'd be the colon, the digestive system, then the liver specifically, the kidneys, and then getting fatty tissue out of your body. You might not think of that in terms of a detoxification, but fat sometimes stores toxins. And it can be part of the reason your body doesn't want to let go of fat because you're toxic. So toxins hide out in fat. And sometimes if you don't get rid of that fat, you're not going to get rid of that toxin. So that's another reason to attain and maintain ideal weight, although there's many reasons for that. So basically, that's kind of the format, I think, in terms of, you could also consider the lungs because you're potentially breathing off toxins all the time, and the skin. But I'd say the skin's a secondary organ of detoxification, because if you're detoxing properly, you don't need to use the skin or the lungs as much for detox. When your body gets overloaded and things start coming out of your skin, that's a sign that you're toxic in many cases. So skin issues can be part of that picture. But that's the main foundation from a medical doctor's standpoint or a physiologic standpoint, where I'd say detoxification function happens in the body. But how important is it? Why is it important? Is it important? Well, I came up with something many, many years ago called the health equation. And it's simply two areas where, as we help you reach your goals, and believe me, we can help you reach your goals in these simple two areas. We not only can help you keep from getting most sickness and disease, but in some cases, halt the progression and even reverse sickness and disease in your body. And those two areas are number one, detoxification, number two, balancing the immune system. And so those are the two areas that I'm always thinking when someone comes to me, whatever problem they come to me with, whether it's something fairly simple or multiple problems that are very complicated, I still think in these two categories and areas. I want to help you detoxify your body and balance your immune system. In part, we're not going to focus on balancing the immune system, but just briefly balance, because an overactive immune system can lead to things like sensitivities, allergies, and autoimmune diseases. An underactive immune system allows even simple things to overtake your body and cause problems. So you not only want to strength or supporting the immune system means to bring balance there, not necessarily building it up, not necessarily calming it down. It depends on the individual needs, but that's half of the health equation. But the other half that I'd say is foundational, certainly foundational, is detoxification. And detox, why is it so important? You know, detoxification, obviously, by the sound of the word, you're decreasing the amount of toxins in your body. And I guess it's just intuitive, a cleaner body on the outside and the inside. And you do need to detoxify your body on the outside as well. But a cleaner body on the inside is going to be healthier. But why? Well, because your body's not concentrating on fighting off these toxins, handling them, getting rid of them, all of which consumes cellular physiologic energy. That's energy that's not focused on other things. And believe me, there's a lot of things going on in your 100 trillion cells. You have more cells than the United States has deaths. Not much more, only about 3 times as many, but you got lots of cells. And those cells are in a constant state of fighting off sickness and disease, trying to stay healthy. And the less toxins you have in your body, the easier it is to win that fight. So I'd say one of the major benefits of detoxification, Dr. Stacy, is allowing your body to focus on the problem. And that's why a simple modality like, and I don't know, I watched you last week with Laura and then 2 weeks ago with Dr. Tim, but I missed the week in between. But I don't know if you spoke about this, but a very simple modality that I think people lose track of is called fasting. And the benefit of fasting is you slow down the intake of the toxins, because toxins come from the food we eat, the water we drink, and the air we breathe in some degree. But when you do that, when you slow down the toxins coming in, then your body has time to say, okay, finally, we're not having to deal with all this. Now we can start focusing on getting rid of what's in the body. And I think that's one of the really powerful healing benefits of fasting, is allowing the body to focus and get a jump on what might be happening. And, Matthew 6, I love this because Jesus says three things in Matthew 6. He says, when you give, and you should give. And he said, when you pray, and you should pray. But he says, when you fast, not if you fast, when. And fasting doesn't mean, sometimes people think fasting means you don't eat anything or drink anything. And it doesn't necessarily mean that. There can be a short amounts of times that can be very beneficial. And in fact, it's very extreme, and it happens quicker when you do it. If you just do a 24-hour water fast, but I wouldn't start with that. I'd start with skipping one meal a day for a week or so, and then work your way up to, 2 meals, and then finally a day a week to not eat. That's a very powerful healing modality in fasting. But I will encourage everyone, start fasting the major toxins: alcohol, excess alcohol, smoking, fast those things. How about this one? Sweets, your favorite dessert. By the way, I can tell you how to get all the calories out of your favorite dessert. Just eat it. You'll get them all. Right? So that's the way to keep from having problems with calories with your dessert. But so it's not if you fast, it's when you fast. And living a fasted lifestyle is better than, I tried to, at the change of the season, do a 3-day fast, but you're really better off living a fasted lifestyle. 1 day a week is a powerful way to keep your body, and then just not overdoing, not intoxing. You lessen the need for detoxification if you don't intox, if you know what I mean. So that's basically what detoxification is all about. And to me, it's keeping those toxins from getting in. Changing the diet's a huge thing. Eating God-made foods as opposed to man-made processed foods that are loaded with sugar and preservatives and other things. A friend of mine is a mortician, and he said bodies used to start to decay. Well, we know the Bible story, and after 4 days, Lazarus, he stinketh, it says, right? Bodies now 30 days, they're not even decaying because of all the preservatives in the foods that we're eating. So there's a lot of toxic chemicals that we're getting all the time. So just cutting down on those man-made foods and eating real foods, fruits and vegetables, whole grain. If you've heard my 10 Keys song, which is what I base health on, and really every one of those 10 keys can help your body detoxify in some way. I'll quickly go through what those are. Number one is learn to relax. That's stress. Stress is very toxic, especially to your brain, overwhelming the brain. Learning to relax, casting your care, not taking care, and then get to bed on time. Resting time is restoration time, supporting that parasympathetic nervous system, which we have a patch for that specifically, don't we?
We do.
And then get to bed on time. Do your exercise. Exercise is moving immune fluids through your body. It's moving the blood more quickly and keeping toxins, keeping your body effectively removing toxins. And then breathing fresh air, breathing in and out. You're breathing in the good oxygen and breathing out toxins. And then sunshine can be detoxifying too. Why? Because one thing, it causes your body to make vitamin D, which is a supporter of all the organs of your body, which certainly the detoxification organs. And then fruits and vegetables, whole grains, and then white if you choose meat. Plant-based lifestyle is way less toxic. And I'm not saying you have to be a vegetarian, but it's less toxic to go in that direction and just don't focus on meats. I think is a healthy way to go. And then finally, and don't miss this one, number 10, drink what you're mostly made of. The number one fluid for detoxification is water. Your body's mostly water, 75% water, but your brain is about 80% water. And you're not going to stay clean and keep detoxifying your body unless you're drinking those 8 to 10 glasses of water a day. I will give you credit for about 4 of them as green tea, but otherwise water. You need to be taking in that water. Coffee doesn't count, and caffeinated beverages, because they can tend to dehydrate when you overdo. Now, I'm not against caffeine. I think 300 milligrams a day can be very beneficial for your brain and other body functions, metabolism. But over that, it becomes dehydrating to your body, which is a horrible, horrible thing. Some people aren't sick. They're just thirsty. They need water, and you need water for detoxification. So don't forget any of these basic things that you need to do. But so those are kind of the foundational issues that I think of when I think of detoxification, Dr. Stacy. But I'm happy to report that as far as with our business and the patches that we use, you say, well, what patches would you recommend for detoxification? Well, I can probably think of reasons why each patch supports, if not detoxifies directly, supports the detoxifying function. But the main ones are, well, I'm never going to talk about patches unless I talk about the dynamic duo, because I believe it's the foundation. I believe it's the starting point. I believe it's where everybody should start with at least these two patches, the X39 on C7, 12 hours on, 12 hours off for that restoration time to rebuild and detoxify. That is for stem cell activation. And stem cells, and I think we don't emphasize this enough, Dr. Stacy, or I don't. What is a stem cell? We take for granted we know what it is. A stem cell is a cell that can become whatever kind of cell your body needs. If your liver needs support, a stem cell can become a brand new liver cell. If your kidneys need support, the kidneys filter the blood and make urine, take all the toxins out of the urine. Needs to happen all the time. If it's not happening, you need dialysis or you're not going to live. And a stem cell can become a kidney cell. Along the GI tract, the digestive tract, it's where absorption of nutrients takes place, and it's where the proper elimination of toxins is. It's the number one organ of detoxification. Stem cells can become a small intestine cell, a large intestine cell, a stomach lining cell to churn up the food, and an acid making cell to make acid in balance to break down food so you can get the minerals from them. So stem cells support, and certainly fat loss, getting the fat out. You can certainly have a benefit there when you support the thyroid's function, which is how to burn calories. And we've even got a specific patch that can, a couple of patches that come to mind when it comes to maintaining and attaining ideal weight, which is getting that fat out, which will help the detoxification process, the energy enhancer, and SP6 as well, both very specific fat patches. But I would start with X39 for stem cell activation, and then Eon. Eon, boy, we could spend the rest of this time just talking about Eon and its benefits, but inflammation is how the body cleanses and restores and lets you know something's wrong. One of the functions of inflammation is to bring pain. Did you know that? Pain has a function. It's a red flag. And just sometimes, I mean, we can take all the pain away from you, but if we're not correcting the thing that's wrong, are we really helping you in the long run? So inflammation brings pain, and it lets you know, hey, there's something wrong here in this joint. There's something wrong in this head. There's something wrong in whatever part of it is, and that will lead you towards the correcting the cause of the problem, which is one thing, Dr. Stacy, I love about patching as much as anything else. I guess I love it most because it's only enhancing something your body only does. So it's natural, it's safe, and it's effective. But also the fact that it does it in a way that doesn't interfere with any other modalities that you might be trying to use. And so I love the X39 and the Eon, but when Eon's bringing down inflammation, it's also helping that detoxification process, because when your body goes in to correct an injury, for example, or an insult or something going wrong, a diseased area in your body, it does that by bringing blood flow into the area. That's what inflammation is. Brings in red blood cells to bring in oxygen, brings in white blood cells to bring in infection fighting benefits, and some white cells actually seal off areas and do all kinds of wonderful things for you. And as important, bringing in nutrients. It takes a lot of nutrients to come in and, first of all, control a toxic area in your body or inflammatory area. And then it takes a lot of nutrients to remove the dead cells. There's a whole new area in science. It's not new. It's been going on in your body for a long time, but there wasn't much talk about it until recently, called senescent cells. Senescent cells are the old dead cells that aren't used anymore. When your cells restore and renew, there's some old dead cells that when they die, you've got to deal with the stuff that's in those cells. And that's part of the detoxification process. So inflammation is a part of all this picture. And inflammation is good when it's in balance. You need to have inflammation. When you cut yourself, you need some blood flow there for oxygen. You need the nutrients to rebuild and to correct the issue. And you certainly need white cells to keep infection from coming. But when inflammation is chronic or out of balance, that's when it contributes to diseases and even causes diseases. Every disease process that I know of or can think of is either caused by or enhanced by inflammation. And we have a specific patch for that called Eon, which has other marvelous benefits, one of which I mentioned a little bit, supporting the parasympathetic nervous system. That's the resting restoration system. You basically have two kinds in the autonomic or automatic nervous system. You have the fight or flight, get up and go, which you need. You need to get up in the morning or to do exercise or to get out of this chair. It uses that system. But you also need to calm down, and that's the parasympathetic. And when that's overactive and it's not functioning or supported properly, you can have things like anxiety and mood imbalances. So using Eon, that's why we used to, and still do, I guess, call it the bliss patch or the happy patch, because it has that super component with it, along with helping the body to balance that inflammatory response, which is detoxifying in itself. So I said all that to say the dynamic duo, X39 and Eon, it's the foundation of detoxification for your body. Let your body build the cells that it needs, wake up those stem cells, go to support the function of the small and large intestine, the liver, the kidneys, the getting the fat out of your body, and then Eon for balancing that parasympathetic rest and restoration time of detoxification system, as well as keeping inflammation in balance. It's all detoxifying. So that's the foundation of it. Those patches.
That is perfect. Dr. Don,
information there.
I totally, I'm going, yeah. And I'm sure many other people are as well too. Before we talk about some of the other patches that, are antioxidants and things like that, can you explain to everyone, because I know we have a lot of guests on here, and of course there'll be tons watching the replay. Can you explain to them how this non-transdermal patch works so they can understand how that's even possible? People are probably wondering, are we putting stem cells in our body? What medicine's in this? So we know you're a medical doctor, but we also know you focus on the, holistic side as well. So can you share with us how it's happening?
Yes, I love this question, because when Susan first shared with me, people were telling her some great results they were getting from patching. And I'm like, she wanted to do it. Let's use it. She heard the true statement that by the time you're 35, you lose 50% of your stem cell activity. By the time you're 65, you lose 90, which is true. And she said, sign me up. And I'm like, Susan, I can't tell people to put a sticker on their neck and it's going to heal everything in their body. So I actually went to study the patches to prove that there was no science to it. Instead, I found out a whopping amount of science. I found 80 clinical studies that were independent, not done by LifeWave, that were double-blind, placebo-controlled, even some peer-reviewed, the highest level of scrutiny. So I had something that had some rock-solid science, more science than I've ever seen on any product in 40 years of doing natural alternatives. It's powerful studies. So it does work. And it's non-transdermal. That was something new to me as well. I was familiar with the transdermal patch, like an estrogen patch, a nicotine patch, smoker's patch, where you put the chemical in the patch, you put it on the body, goes through the skin, and that's how it works. In this case, none of the chemicals that are in the patch, and really it's just an organic amino acid matrix, are getting into your body. It doesn't work that way. It uses your body as an energy source. This is the science of the future, folks. This is a biotechnical advance. But it's using that phenomena that the sun has been doing all of our lives. The sun hitting your skin, making vitamin D, that's photo light, biomodulation, changing the body with light therapy. This is wearable light therapy, but it just focuses on a very specific wavelength of light. In the case of the X39, your body's energy hits the matrix. It then forms a very specific wavelength of light that wakes up a signaling molecule called GHK, copper peptide in this case, that's well known and been researched for decades to wake up stem cells and support stem cell activity. So when we say non-transdermal, it just means that it's using your body's energy as a battery. The light wave that's put into your body signals a molecule that's then going to do whatever the patch was designed to do. So it is a powerful, unique modality that I know is the future in age reversing science, literally age reversing. I mean, every 6 weeks you wear that X39 on C7, the back of your neck there, on the bump at the base of your skull, you de-age the cardiovascular system, the heart and blood vessels, by 8 weeks. Wear it 6 weeks, de-age 8 weeks. Wow, that's reverse aging.
Sign me up for that.
Yeah, who doesn't want that? I mean, there's nothing else out there that I know that we can do that with. And people may not know, but you can measure your biological age. Your chronological age is how many candles are on your birthday cake, but rarely is someone biologically the same age as their candles on their birthday cake. Some people are much younger than their stated age. Some can be biologically much older, but we can measure those things and then wear the patch and then remeasure and show measurable results. That's some of the things we do in the clinical studies. So powerful modality that is so natural, it doesn't interfere with any other things that you're using. You don't even have to know what's going on in your body. You don't have to figure it out. Just get patching. It's smart technology. It'll work on the first thing first, then it goes to the next thing, then to the next thing. And people need to be educated about this because they need to be told it takes the average person 3 to 6 weeks for something noticeable. That doesn't mean nothing's happening during those first 3 to 6 weeks, but most people notice. I've heard probably the most common thing: sleeping better, better energy levels, better thinking, wound healing like skin improvements, memory, those kinds of GI issues, skin improvement, where tissues are turning over more quickly. But we don't know when that's going to be noticeable by you because we don't know what's going on in all of your body. There's many negative things going on in all of us right now that we'll never find out about. We don't want to know about because our body's correcting them, but correcting much more efficiently when the stem cells are activated, but it takes some time. And it's like a bell curve. Most people 3 to 6 weeks. Very rarely someone will be a one patch wonder. Very first day, very first week. I love it. But then on the other side of the spectrum, they may have to wear the patch for a month for every decade of life before they really notice something. But rest assured, it is working. Every time you put a patch on, it's going to work. Dr. Stacy, it even works on the genetic level. When you put your very first X39 stem cell activating patch, which contains no stem cells, just wakes them up, your own stem cells. When you put it on there within 24 hours, you're at the genetic level helping your very own genes, your DNA, express at a younger, healthier level. I don't know anything else that works on that level, as well as all the other things that it's doing. If you think I'm excited about it, you're right. And I used to, I would share with people, and then they'd be interested, but they'd be like, okay, well, what does it cost? Because stem cell therapy can be $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. It's traditional stem cell therapy, and it's illegal in the United States now. And, even if this was $100 a day for this patch, I would still be encouraging everyone listening to my voice, find a way to do it for a couple months. This is the only body you have. But for $3 a day, which is what you can get this patch for, It's just foolish to not take care of this body. You only get to, this is your earth suit. You stay on earth as long as this lasts. When this thing wears out, you're out of here. So you want to keep it strong and live long. $3 a day. Wow, that is a absolute no-brainer. And I've even had some people, kind of hesitate at that, because I do recommend the supportive Eon with it, which is $2 a day. That's $5 a day. And they support. And when I first started sharing about this, I was a little bit more, I don't know, calm about it or reticent, but now I'm not anymore. I'm so passionate about it. I say, look, you don't think you can afford this, then this is what you need to do. For the next 2 months, you need to skip 1 meal a day, or 2 if necessary. Take that money and buy these patches. That's how important I think this is. And then you're invoking another modality called fasting, which is a healing modality, which is very detoxifying as well. So that's
I love that. Just skip a meal one day. Just skip 1 meal every single day, and there's the patches.
Yes.
That's great. Skip 2 if you need to, right? Let's get that autophagy going. Get those zombie cells out of the body. Let's get it running like it did when it was a kid.
Exactly right.
That's fantastic. So, Dr. Don, let's talk a little bit about our 2 big antioxidants, glutathione, carnosine. What do antioxidants have to do with detoxing? What is that?
If I had to pick a third cell patch to support detoxification, because I'm always going to go with the dynamic duo, X39, and you need to start there. But nothing wrong with adding from the get-go other patches. You can wear 4 or 5 patches or more at once. And the next patch I would pick for sure is glutathione, because it's it's the #1 master antioxidant. What does that mean? Antioxidants fight free radical damage, which causes aging in your body. And free radicals they're everywhere. If you're breathing and living, you're creating them. If you're active, you create more of them. If you're eating wrong, you create more of them. If you're in a toxic environment, you create more of them. And keeping them in check helps you stay younger longer. That's antioxidant, fighting the rapid oxidation process, which, by the way, is what rusting is. It's like fighting rust on a bumper. It's what happens when you put a white sheet of paper in the fire. You ever notice it turns dark yellow and dark brown and then black? That's rapid oxidation. What's going on in your body is slow rusting oxidation. When you slow that down, you live longer and stronger. You stay shiny longer, if we're using the chrome bumper analogy there. The #1 master antioxidant is glutathione. Why? Well, the antioxidants, the major ones are the ACEs, vitamin A, C, E, the trace mineral selenium. And these, like for example, vitamin C, your body can't make vitamin C. They're essential nutrients. You've got to get them in the diet. Your dog and cat can make vitamin C. You can't. You've got to get it in your diet. And every molecule works by donating an electron. But once that molecule donates, it's done. But glutathione comes in and replaces that over and over, replaces that electron to rejuvenate literally your vitamin E, your vitamin C in your body. So that's why we call it the master antioxidant. But that's not the reason I'm so excited about the glutathione patch, although I am. When you get older, your body makes glutathione. Your liver makes it. But when you get older, you make less of it. And it's a master antioxidant. You need to be making more. Well, David Schmidt found a way to use a signaling molecule that tells your liver make some more of your own glutathione. And as you mentioned earlier, I'm a formulator. In the past, I formulated lots of nutritional products. And if you're using glutathione, you might use 500 milligrams, a full dosage of it. But the half-life for glutathione taken orally or IV, which nothing wrong with those. I'm a fan of using both of those modalities. And Dr. Laura talked about that when she was fighting her cancer in the past, doing those glutathione drips. And they're very expensive, but they're also very powerful. And the half-life of glutathione is only 7.5 minutes. That means if I give you 500 milligrams, 7.5 minutes from now, you only have 250 left. 7.5 minutes after that, you only have 125, 67, and so on. In a couple hours, you don't have any glutathione left. That's the best we can do with supplementing. With this patch, waking up your body's own ability to make its own glutathione, you can wear this patch, and of course you'll wear it 12 hours on, 12 hours off. When you put the glutathione patch, you can get up to a 300% increase in glutathione levels, and the effect lasts 24 hours. So if you're wearing it 12 hours on and off properly, you get a consistent 300% increase in glutathione levels. There's no way you can do that orally or IV. That's a paradigm shift. And this is what I've been doing for 40 years. I mean, this is my wheelhouse. And I'll tell you right now, I don't miss my glutathione patch because I want that 300% benefit. So that would be the next patch. And some might even say the number one, maybe even David Schmidt would say the number one patch for detoxification is glutathione. And I hope now you can understand a little better why. And there's lots more benefits even than that. But waking up your own body's ability to fight the master fighter of aging. And then carnosine would be next. And carnosine is also an antioxidant that's extremely good. Well, it supports all organs, but particularly good at the brain and nervous system and the heart, the endothelium, the lining of blood vessels, and the heart itself. So I like to say if you have a brain or a heart, you need the carnosine and or an immune system, really. And another thing carnosine does is lengthens telomeres, which how long your telomeres are, that's the ends of your DNA strands, it directly determines how long you live. So to lengthen your life, there's some good studies on carnosine, which is another powerful benefit of carnosine. So those are both, I'd say, contributing in major ways to detoxification in your body, along with the X39 and glutathione. And then I mentioned briefly before, the energy enhancer, because anytime you help get fat out of the body, burn some more calories, you're detoxifying, because fat toxins hide in fat. And SP6. I love SP6. It's really one of my favorites. Probably most people don't have that as a favorite, but it's one of mine because it supports glandular function, specifically the thyroid gland, which deals with metabolism, the rate at which you burn calories, and who wouldn't want to support that process? And then adrenal glands, which help you with stress and make sure you don't put out too much cortisol, which causes an accumulation of toxic belly fat. We don't want that. And then the pancreas is a gland that not only makes food enzymes to digest your foods, which is very important to get the nutrients out, but more importantly, or at least as importantly, makes insulin to help balance blood sugar, as well as the glands like the ovaries, testes for hormonal balance. SP6 is a powerful, powerful supportive patch that supports all organ systems, really, and all the organs of detoxification, but specifically glands in your body. So we're excited about all the benefits of all these patches. I just wish everyone would start with the dynamic duo, add the supporting patches that you need, and let's let our bodies that are fearfully and wonderfully made do what they want to do, detoxify, balance our immune system. Let's live long and strong together naturally, Dr. Stacy.
I'm right there with you. I totally agree with that 100%. We are doing it. We already are doing it. We hope all of you are as well too. So Dr. Don, we have about 20 minutes left, and I don't know, there are a lot of questions in the chat. So I'm going to ask you a few, and if we can kind of pop through and see if we can get as many of them as possible.
I'll try not to be too long on my answers.
It's all good. And if not, everyone knows here they can get back with the person that invited them and they can get their questions answered. We all work together. But we know that, of course, some of the questions are going to be pertaining to detox and things, and others aren't. They're just asking general questions. You know, back in November, this first question is from somebody, Rise and Be Healed Ministries. And back in November, you and I did a 4-part brain series where you took a deep dive with me and Laura as well too into brain health. And so this first question is for a 26-year-old that has cerebral palsy, epilepsy, and autism. Now, obviously, we cannot speak directly to those 3 conditions because we're not going to make any claims. But when you're looking at the brain, Dr. Don, because I'll skip over all the other brain questions that people are asking, what patches would you recommend for perfect brain health?
I'm always going to start with, as you'll hear me say on every question here, probably the dynamic duo X39 and EM, because we don't want inflammation around the brain. Anything we can do to keep that down is going to enhance brain health. And of course, stem cells can become neurons, which your brain is made of. But in this situation, I guess I would pick for another supportive patch the carnosine, just because it's of its specific brain supportive ability. And I think this combination would really help with something called coherence in the brain. That's the balance between left and right hemisphere. And we've got, of course, clinical studies showing that by enhancing the stem cells that you're making and making more of, that you increase brain health. And that's what this is all about. So those are the ones I would start with there.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so people are asking about daytime patches versus nighttime patches. Do we use X39 Eon during the day, one day, night? What do you recommend on that with patches?
I always recommend X39 during the day, simply because eventually just about everyone experiences enhanced energy. Now, it's not a caffeine type, nervous type energy. It is comfortable, youthful, I'd say, more energy, but I still would restrict that X39 to a daytime patch. Now, Eon, you can go either way with that one. You can wear it day or night. And how would you decide? Well, if someone was dealing with, because it supports that parasympathetic resting nervous system and help balance anxiety, if they're having more anxiety at night, I would wear it during the night. If they're having it during the day, I'd wear it during the day. So that one can go either way. Certain ones like Silent Night and Aloe Vita, they're nighttime patches. They were designed that way. Otherwise, patches should be worn during the day. I guess I wouldn't wear the energy enhancer at night for obvious reasons, but am I forgetting something there, Dr. Stacey?
No, you're good. That's perfect. Absolutely. Summer day, summer night, and some can be mixed, whichever works best for you. Okay, so we talked a little bit about water. Well, they're asking about water in your showers, water in your swimming pools. What do you feel on that as far as toxic load?
Yeah, well, there is an additional toxic load that comes if you're in a municipal system which in a city water, treated water is going to have chlorine. And chlorine is a huge free radical damager. We talked about the antioxidant glutathione balancing that, but one of the big ones is chlorine. I mean, chlorine is a real bad, powerful ager of your body, causing free radical damage. It'll literally rust your body quicker, burn it, oxidize it quicker. And not only, I'm glad we brought this up because I wanted to mention, one way you can decrease the amount of free radical damage in your body is by using natural cleaners, like vinegar and water for windows instead of toxic cleaners. There are a lot of cleaners, especially if they've got bleach in them or chlorine, they're going to contribute to aging, to free radical damage. So yeah, I think it's worth avoiding those. You can get just a simple little inexpensive filter for your shower. It'll cut down the flow of water a little bit, save you some water too, but also save you from some of the effects of chlorine. I mean, it's not like you're going to die, from the chlorine exposure by going in a chlorine pool. It's better to have the chlorine in the pool not be green with toxins that are obviously going to kill you quicker there. Pathogens that would be living. That's the idea. So once again, it's a balance thing. It's not something to be afraid of, but to be aware of. And when you have a choice, go the natural way.
I love that. All right, we're going to jump onto something totally different. What about gout? We know food, obviously, is a huge contributing factor, but what else would you say?
The number one thing that I've had success with for gout is cherry juice. But that doesn't mean, red juice in the store, which is mostly sugar. You got to find something that's 100%, and it's expensive, but it's not really expensive when you look at the health benefits of it. You don't need very much of it, but cherry juice is a very powerful anti-inflammatory and actually really a treatment for gout, a natural treatment for gout. And then in anti-inflammation, it's very inflammatory. That's what it is. It's too much uric acid. Your body's too acidic. Of course, you got to you got to avoid the things that cause crises there, which is things like cheese and beer and a lot of meats. And people probably know their triggers if they're dealing with it. But it's kind of, and that really goes for all the arthritides, keeping your body pH in balance. That means basically eating fruits and vegetables that will help your pH to stay in balance, as opposed to the acidifying effects of sugar and fried foods and toxic chemical laden foods all acidify your body. I'll say this, one glass of soda pop, it takes 32 glasses of water just to balance the acidifying effect of one can or bottle of soda pop. So much easier to avoid that soda pop than try to drink all that water.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that. All right. What about if someone's been exposed to Agent Orange in the past, obviously?
Agent Orange is just, everything we've said tonight is 10 times as important for that person as it is for the average person, because Agent Orange is just like having 10 times the amount of toxin that the average person faces and faced in a concentrated amount of time. It's a bad poison. But it doesn't mean that your body can't detoxify from that. If we support the organs of detoxification, particularly the liver in this case, which is glutathione. I mean, glutathione patch in this case is almost as important as the X39 and Eon, but you don't have to choose. You should use them all together. And I certainly would do that. And then for the brain benefits, because Agent Orange can really do some crazy things there, I might add the carnosine. So I might do all of those together, Dr. Stacy.
Wonderful. Thank you.